Steve, the Affordable Life Coach. If you're interested in a complimentary consultation, email is in the description. And I've been doing this for over 13 years and really have learned so much that everyone would find helpful. This video is going to take a different approach to clutter, mental clutter, physical clutter, digital clutter, and distractions. It's something that comes up pretty regularly in coaching sessions, and clutter has been normalized for most of us. We just don't think about it because we live in a very abundant country or civilization where we have space to store things, where we have digital hard drives that can almost infinitely store stuff. We have stuff in the cloud that we can store. We have constant mental distractions bombarding us throughout the day. Even in our sleep, there's noise. There's not true minimalism. There's not true white space. White space is beautiful because it's like a blank canvas and we could start fresh and paint things on, and it allows us to focus, it allows us to breathe, it allows us to self-reflect, it allows us to know what we want, who we are, what we're feeling. It allows us to have creative thoughts and ideas. But we are enveloped in a society and culture that is just noisy, distracted, possession-orientated, clutter-filled, and we don't realize the toll it takes on us and what drives us, what motivates us to stay in that state. And I'll just give you a comparison of how do you feel after you spend a couple hours or even a day or two out in nature without the technology, digital distractions, cell phones, things like that. It's completely different than how you feel if you go out into the world. Like just walking out into the world, there's noise, there's traffic, there's people, there's pollution, you can't even, depending where you are, barely hear the birds chirping. That's always a good sign. If you could hear the birds chirping, that's a good place to be. And it just wears us down. We open our inbox in our email, and I've seen people have emails like in the hundreds in their inbox, or even thousands of unread or unfiltered or unaddressed emails. And digital clutter and physical clutter, mental clutter, and the distractions, one of the key driving forces behind it, which a lot of people don't realize, it's a beautiful way to avoid. Because when you have a big pile of things, you don't really have to focus on what's most important, or you don't have to take action, because you can always say, oh, I'm just overwhelmed. I get clients, this is a regular thing, clients say, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I just have so many options. And they get overwhelmed and it's stressful, and it puts them in a fight, flight, freeze response. And then they don't take action on anything. And they use the overwhelm or just too many options or too many decisions as a way to avoid or procrastinate in doing something that maybe it's challenging or that they don't want to do, or there's resistance behind. And just for example, like bookmarks. I have so many bookmarks. Like digital clutter is my Achilles heel. It's something that I struggle with, and it's like the key is I'll declutter some parts of my digital life, and then it'll just slowly creep back in because there's no friction point into accumulating digital clutter. It's constantly coming at us. And I was thinking bookmarks. I can't even remember the last time I opened my bookmarks and said, okay, this is a website that I want to go to, or oh, this bookmark is really important. I should revisit, this page, or there's information, or there's something, that might be helpful for my clients. Like bookmarks is a great example of one, out of sight, out of mind, and then two, because I have so many bookmarks, when everything's important, nothing becomes important. And it's like highlighting in books. If you highlight everything in the book, or you highlight half the book, or even a third of the book, you just like, oh God, you can't absorb all that information, and you're not going to read all that information, and you just get overwhelmed. And it's a good excuse of not reading books. Oh, I have no way to process, all this information. Instead of just pulling out key ideas, applying the 80-20 principle. 80-20 principle is 80% of the reward or benefit of an action comes from 20% of the effort. And if we apply that to our lives, just in everything, it really clears the fog. You can see where you're going. You can see the path. If you ever driven in fog on a really foggy at night road that's not well lit, you can barely see ahead of you. And that's what it is. We have so much fog, and we have so much distraction, and we're constantly inputting stuff into our brains and our mouths and our ears and our senses just overall. And it's sludge. It just slows us down. And yeah, nature is just the best example of what our mind and our spirit and our being is supposed to be like. Just even just sitting by water, or sitting by a river, or just sitting in a park, if that's the closest nature that you have, everything just becomes clearer. And oftentimes when we wake up in the morning, we're so overwhelmed by all the options, all the tasks, all the emails, all the phone calls we have to do, all the work, all the chores around the house. It's just, oh my gosh. And then those things consume so much of our time or day that we don't work on things that are maybe more fulfilling, things that are important but not urgent, things that would plant seeds to create a better future for us, or things that are adventurous or exciting. Like one of my clients said, I don't have fun anymore. I just don't have fun, and I don't have adventure, and I don't have excitement anymore. And then we reviewed his schedule, and it's jam-packed with work and projects and tasks and chores and exercising, stuff like that. And we don't create space, white space, to do nothing, to have fun, to have experiences, and to enjoy our lives. Even just one deep breath it's just like a great reset to just slow down and realize what's important. And that's the scary thing, is when have so much pulling our attention from the physical clutter, the mental clutter, the distractions, all the screens, the people. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I just want silence. Just silence. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to be able to listen to my breath. I just want to let my thoughts, my creative thoughts, or my intuitive mind come to the surface. But it's a great way to avoid dealing with life. That's why we distract ourselves. Well, it's one of the reasons why we distract ourselves. It's one of the reasons why when I'm coaching some clients and I ask them about their intuition, or I ask them, what are you really feeling? What are your thoughts about, this situation, this experience? And they're they draw a blank because they haven't created time to self-reflect. We're always doing. We're always putting out brush fires. We're always busy and trying to accomplish something, but what? To what end? And if we're not aligned with our spiritual core, with our values, with our higher self, we just we're like in water, just dog paddling just to stay afloat. And I feel like I get sucked into that mode at times. And I feel like that's something that clients and just population in general, we get sucked into just being overwhelmed and being stressed and being anxious. And it really depletes your spiritual battery. And that's what I really want to steer when I'm coaching people, is to steer them back. It's your spiritual core. That is what guides you. That's what we want to lead with. That's what we want to follow. That's what we want to make our decisions from. That's what we want to feed, nourish, strengthen, build, encourage. And there's just in this material westernized world, it's like, and you see there's like a spiritual slow death, that people are so disconnected from that, so disconnected with the spiritual realm from God. And you could see evidence of that. You could see just the decay of morality, the decay of people having values, the decay of caring about each other, of loving who we are as we are, not as culture or society or social media tells us who we're supposed to be. There's no inner compass. Our inner compass is not for everybody, but for a lot of us, it's deadened. It's numbed. It's been buried underneath spiritual, physical, mental, and digital clutter. And there's not enough connection with that. We just don't create space. That is not a priority. I've never had a client, I've been doing this 13 years. I've never had a client who says, who contacted me, and they'll eventually come to this because they realize the value of focusing on their spiritual core. But they never say, hey, Steve, I want to just have deep, calm connection with my spiritual side. I want to feel content and joyful without putting pressure and feeling like I need to do so many things, or I need to accomplish something in order to feel good about myself. Steve, I want a very simple and minimalistic life so I can focus on the things that are truly important to me. And it might not be getting a promotion or finding a partner or building, a physically fit body. Again, like I say in previous videos, man, it's about inside out, living life inside out. And we're just so conditioned and brainwashed to live life outside in. What I do, what I accomplish outside is going to fix me inside. And it doesn't happen. And we can't see clearly of what our path is, because that's another thing that comes up in coaching sessions. I don't know what my path is, especially from my younger clients, even my older clients as well. I don't know what my path is. What should I be doing? I have so many options. I'm so unclear. The path is, there's too much fog and there's too much clutter. And we don't give our spirit a breathing room, time to talk to ourselves, for it to talk to us, to guide us, to lead us, to give us intuitive light bulb moments. So you can kind of tell what's going on within you if you look at your external world. It's a mirror. It is absolutely a mirror. And I notice when I get bogged down in distractions or mental clutter or digital clutter, that, again, that's my biggest weakness. It's like walking in quicksand. I just get stuck. And then there's decision fatigue and a lack of priority clarity. And it's just I don't like being in that space. And it's not as challenging as we think to get out of. I feel like a big part of what we have is a fear of missing out. And so we cling to everything. We cling to the physical clutter. We turn on, the social media or the news or go to screens because it's a way to avoid living our lives in a way that's in alignment with who we want to be. And like I said earlier, the values. So this video is kind of like, it's jumping around. I realize that. So the core takeaway message is when you clear away all that clutter and all that distraction and busyness and the burdens that we carry around or that we add to our lives, you can see much more clearly. Now, some people will be careful, don't get caught in this trap. Some people say, first I have to clear all my clutter and then I'll take action on what I want to do. You can do them both at the same time. And it's just a much more peaceful way to live. And there's less resistance, there's less pressure, there's more focus. And it's just a calm way to engage with the world and protect ourselves from all the things that want to take a piece of our attention or our energy or our time or our money. It's just saying no, I'm not going to add one more bookmark, until I get rid of 10 bookmarks. No, I'm not going to buy one more thing that I don't need, that's not essential, until I get rid of 10 things that I currently have. It's just, no, I'm not going to commit to an obligation. Someone's asking me for an event I don't really want to go to, but I'm doing it for people-pleasing reason. I mean, it's really just being protective about our spiritual and mental and physical space. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in coaching and a complimentary consultation, there's an email in the description. And as always, appreciate your comments, likes, and subscribes if you want to see more of these types of videos. And your thoughts on how the clutter affects your lives, the mental clutter, the digital clutter, the physical clutter, and just general distractions. Be interested in what your thoughts are in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.